Rebecca Moeller, and I am a trauma-informed embodied mindfulness teacher from Salem, Utah, and the creator of the Body Soul School mindfulness programs. And this is a 3-part teaching series called 3 Keys to Inner Freedom in Food, Body, Appearance, and Mindset. This is teaching number 1. And in this teaching, I want to focus on bringing mindfulness or consciousness to embodiment. So being in your body. And the mantra that kind of ties together this teaching is a mantra that will apply to all 3 of these teaching segments is this: whatever you bring consciousness to, you bring alignment to. So what is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness. So consciousness is different than knowing something logically or knowing information. It's different than intelligence. Consciousness is awareness, and consciousness occurs and happens in the present moment. So for a moment, maybe just sit in your chair or wherever you're watching this and see if you can take a deep breath with me. Inhale, exhale, and see if you can take another breath and just become aware of the fact that you're breathing. Take another breath. For a moment, do a little body scan and become aware if your body feels tight right now or if it feels relaxed, if there are any aches or pains in your body. If you're sitting on something, see if you can become aware of the weight of your body sitting in your chair. If you're standing or walking, see if you can feel the contact points of your feet on the earth. And if I asked you in this moment, if your heart was open or closed, if your heart felt open, see if you would be able to tell me what that felt like. Does your heart feel open in this moment, or does it feel closed? Okay, none of those questions asked you any information, but they dropped you into a space of becoming aware. And you might first just recognize how many breaths you take every single day without having any awareness that you're breathing. Or how often you move through your life and your body is carrying you wherever you need to go, and you're completely unaware of the fact that here I am, I'm in a body. Now, why does any of this matter? Because this body is the vehicle for our life journey. And our consciousness is what is taking this life journey. So when we become aware of ourselves as this consciousness, that there's something bigger than the surface level of life, we bring consciousness and we create an awakening and an opening for something deeper to come and flow into our lives. This consciousness has the power, just innately, to bring our lives into alignment, because consciousness is alignment. It is intelligence, the deepest intelligence, an intelligence that's much deeper than the kind of intelligence we go to school and learn facts and information. This is the kind of intelligence that created the universe, that created everything in the world around us, that created ourselves as a being, that created the people around us. That is the intelligence that we tap into when we drop into that awareness and nurture that deeper level of awareness that here I am in this body, and there's something there. There's a watcher, there's a presence, and we can learn how to feel that and cultivate that. Now, if you were able to find or feel any level of awareness in that little drop-in, I want you to just notice the quality of awareness. Awareness, consciousness is spacious. It feels open. It feels free and clear. Consciousness has the qualities of compassion and curiosity. It's watching. It's watching not to judge, but just to observe, to become aware of what's here. So I want you to first understand that consciousness, bringing consciousness into our lives and into the ways we're interacting with our body, is totally different than bringing information. And there's a place for both, okay? Let's for a moment look at the places in our lives that we typically need help, or we get misaligned, or we get stuck, or into a place of suffering or unconsciousness in our bodies. For a moment, maybe consider yourself. Where do you feel stuck in an embodied way? And some possibilities might be your relationship with food, your relationship with your weight, your relationship with exercise, your relationship with sex or sexuality, your relationship with sleep, and how you feel about your body in general. All of these places are places that people often get misaligned and get into a place where they feel out of control or in a place of suffering. And typically, how we respond to that is we attack those problems with information. Okay, so personal story. My late teens and early 20s, I struggled with anorexia and disordered eating, where I was very restrictive. And I lost my period in my late teens because I dropped so much body fat, and I did not get my period back consistently till my mid 30s. So I spent a lot of years in kind of restrictive eating patterns that definitely were manifesting in my body. My body was in a state of amenorrhea. It was unable to create my menstrual cycle. So what happened for me is I grew up in Wisconsin, which was a wonderful place to grow up. People there were very laid back and very happy and jolly, but a lot of people around me were very, very overweight. And I hit a point at about 18 where I was terrified that I was going to get really fat, and that felt really scary and it felt out of control. So I kind of made this decision that I wanted to feel in control of my life. I was about to graduate from high school and move across the country to a place where I didn't know anyone, and I felt a lot of pressure and a lot of expectation that I was mostly putting on myself. And food became an outlet for me to feel a sense of control at a place in my life where I did not feel control and where I was afraid I was going to fail. I was afraid I was going to disappoint people. But as I started tracking food and learning information about food and about how calories in, calories out, how I could manipulate numbers and control an outcome in my body, that felt really intoxicating and really addicting. And I became obsessed with tracking calories. So this was long before there were phones with apps like MyFitnessPal. So I would carry around calorie tracker books, reference books, like this thick, that listed like every food item you could imagine and their calorie count. And I would carry that around and study it at night and carry around a little notebook and write down every single thing I ate all day and add up the numbers. And then I would exercise and track my calories out. And I lived every day like this, okay? I had a lot of information and I was getting an outcome that in some ways felt very positive to me, but on a deeper level, on a soul level, it wasn't positive. It was the opposite of freedom. I felt so chained and felt this pressure of being on this treadmill that I had to stay on and be successful and track everything. If the scale went up, I was devastated. I was scared. I was angry at myself. If the scale went down, I was elated. My entire well-being was outside of my own locus of control. It was in the outcome of this embodied behavior. And I felt so much pressure and so much desperation to stay in control of it and to stay on top of it. So I want you to just for a moment recognize the difference between information and awareness. For 20 years of my life, I collected information, and that information kept my body at a very low weight, but my soul felt very tight. It felt very dense. It felt very like pressure and suffering. And it wasn't until I learned about consciousness and I became more conscious and aware through more suffering in different areas of my life that I was able to bring awareness into this part of my life. And as I was able to bring awareness, I was able to let go of the compulsion to track everything or to feel like I was in total control or I had to have this specific outcome in order to be okay. And I was able to let go and find an inner freedom. And in that surrendering control, that decision to release the behaviors that had been keeping me small and tight and in suffering, I found so much more space inside myself. So consciousness feels light. It feels free. It feels like space. Inner freedom comes from consciousness. And just like I had to do with food in a pretty dramatic way, I've also had to do and can do, and we all can, bring the same kind of consciousness into our relationship with movement, with sex, with sleep, with the way we interact with our body, the way we hold our body, with the way we dress and present ourselves. It's the one thing that will bring all other things into alignment is this consciousness, this awareness. And that's the best news in the world, because that means instead of having to know everything about all of those different aspects of being in a body, it means we only have to know one thing. We have to know how to deepen our level of consciousness. And if we deepen our level of consciousness and we learn how to be present in our body, in the moment, we really just need basic information as far as the information side of things. And we bring that information into that awareness, and we're able to find this alignment with a lightness and an ease that no longer feels like a struggle, no longer feels like a battle, like a white knuckle. This is the power of consciousness. This is the power of mindfulness, whether it's bringing that present moment awareness to food, exercise, sex, the way you dress, or sleep. And this is a consciousness and an alignment that is found in everything around us in the world we live in. It's an intelligence that is found through letting go and finding a deeper level awareness. This from the Tao Te Ching, one of the most ancient spiritual texts that exists on the planet. It's from China. The 8th verse of the Tao Te Ching. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It flows to low places loathed by all men. Therefore, it is like the Tao. Live in accordance with the nature of things. In dwelling, be close to the land. In meditation, go deep in the heart. In dealing with others, be gentle and kind. Stand by your word, govern with equity. Be timely in choosing the right moment. One who lives in accordance with nature does not go against the way of things. He moves in harmony with the present moment, always knowing the truth of just what to do. The first mindful key to finding inner freedom in food, body, appearance, sex, sleep, and body image is to learn how to deepen your level of consciousness and find the present moment and get to know yourself as that awareness. Bring curiosity to the moment that you're engaging with food, curiosity to the thoughts and emotions that run through your mind as you engage with food, as you engage with sex. What are the places, the narratives, the thoughts that are hooking you into shame or self-absorption or judgment or any other form of suffering? And become aware of the embodied signals that tell you you're closing off. And those embodied signals will be a tightening. Remember, the qualities of consciousness are spaciousness and openness, a fundamental non-judgment, a curiosity that knows there's room for all things and that every experience can be a teacher. So when you feel, instead of spaciousness and compassionate curiosity, when you feel a tightening and a judgment and a shame or a blame, just watch and name it and know that that has cut you off from the one thing that will bring alignment and freedom to this embodiment. And that is deepening your level of consciousness with the way you're engaging in these embodied behaviors.